The South Shields, Marsden and Whitburn Colliery Railway, with an approximate track length of 2 3/4 miles, was a mineral and passenger line operating between South Shields and Whitburn Colliery in the northeast of England. Built in the late 1870s, the line closed to freight along with the Whitburn Colliery in 1968. Westoe Colliery was finally demolished in 1994 when the final section of the Marsden Railway was lifted. The railway starts at Westoe Lane station in South Shields. A side-by-side National Library of Scotland map shows the start of the walk at Sport Terrace, which is now a row of houses. The following images show Westoe Lane station before it was demolished in 1980 and replaced as part of a new housing development. The best fit route of the railway, with a length of just over 3 miles, is transferred from an early National Library of Scotland OS map to an up-to-date OS map. An Ordnance Survey 3D fly-through follows the route from its start at South Shields and the finish at Whitburn Coastal Park. The first part of the railway and walking route, starting at the site of Westoe Lane station at Sport Terrace, is now shown on a current Ordnance Survey map. A side-by-side NLS and OS map shows in more detail Westoe Road station opposite the junction of Handel Street and what is renamed Sport Terrace. The walk leaves the start at the Handel Street junction and follows the road along Sport Terrace. A side-by-side OS map shows a footbridge crossing over the railway at this location, as well as some other points of interest on the early left-hand map. The right-hand map shows a path within the red circle, which has replaced the footbridge. A recent Google image shows 2 pillars which still remain from the footbridge. The walk continues to the next point of interest. A roundabout at the junction of Barnes Park Road and Mowbray Road is the location for a monument commemorating the rich history of Westoe Colliery following its closure in 1993. The left-hand side-by-side NLS map shows the triangular railway formation of Westoe Colliery linked to the South Shields, Marsden and Whitburn Colliery Railway. The right-hand map shows the current location of the Westoe Colliery Monument, a short distance from the original route of the railway. After sweeping past the triangular railway routes, the SSMWC railway travels down towards a signal box before passing over a railway bridge at Mowbray Road. The railway route continues to next reach the Benthouse Lane gated foot crossing and onwards up to the Trow Rocks footbridge crossing. The walking route next passes the New Crown pub and follows the A183 Coast Road until it joins the original route of the SSMWC railway on a grassy embankment. The moving cursor on a side-by-side NLS map shows the next part of the railway route after being joined by the walking route. The walking route now follows the original route of the railway along the embankment. It next passes the finish of the Great North Run and the Bamborough pub. After passing the pub, the route reaches its next point of interest at the 1 mile marker post location. The railway and walking route continues along the embankment in a straight line past 2 more crossing points. The route continues up to the Horsley Hill crossing as shown on the left-hand NLS map. Further along the embankment, the route next reaches the Little Horsley Hill crossing. Continuing onwards, the route passes a row of houses and then Harton Downhill on the right, which is now a nature reserve. After passing the row of houses and a modern road crossing, a marked crossing is reached, denoted by a public footpath sign on the opposite side of the road. After a further short distance, the route reaches the location of the Marsden Cottage platform and halt, approximately midway between the bus shelter and road crossing. The following images show the station and halt with the Rattler train passing through and then later in the 1950s. After the road crossing, the route continues in a straight line until it crosses over the next bridge at Redwell Lane. The route continues to sweep close to the cliff top where it crossed a footpath which ran between 2 public houses, Marsden Inn and Marine Grotto. The approximate location between the 2 pubs is just after reaching the bus stop. An NLS 1942 map shows a footbridge crossing over the railway. The footbridge remained until after the closure of the railway in 1968. The following images taken from the bridge shows one of the last trains to travel along the line. At this point, the original route of the railway has now crossed to the opposite side of the A183 Coast Road and closer to the cliff edge. The railway route continues on to next reach Marsden station. The original railway route continues to follow the A183 Coast Road until it crosses back to the opposite side to next reach the approximate location of Marsden station. A zoomed-in NLS side-by-side map shows the station platform and current location for the original site on Google Maps. An extraction from an early OS 1896 map shows the station overlaid onto a modern aerial view. After leaving Marsden station, the railway continues onwards to pass a massive battery of lime kilns on the right. The kilns were built in about the 1870s for use in association with Marsden Quarry and Whitburn Colliery. The lime was loaded onto railway wagons, known as the Marsden Rattler, and transported to the docks at South Shields. In 2016, major conservation work began to preserve the kilns, which are now a scheduled monument. After leaving the lime kilns, the railway takes a route into Marsden village, slightly inland from the A183 Coast Road. The left-hand NLS map shows the little rows of back-to-back terraced houses. As the railway entered the village, it passed a siding to the left which served the Charles Street Landsale Coal Depot. It is of note that the A183 Coast Road follows the original route of Charles Street at this point. The walking route now enters the outskirts of Whitburn village. A house on the right is the location for the original post office, and just a short distance further would have been the mission room and a footbridge over the railway. This image from 1904 shows a gated level crossing with the mission room footbridge to the right. The railway continued onwards towards its destination at Whitburn Colliery. After passing under the mission room footbridge, the railway continued a short distance to reach the Suter Lighthouse. Built in 1871, the Suter Lighthouse was equipped with a foghorn which was powered by stationary steam engines. Just past the lighthouse are the abutments remaining from the skewed railway bridge which crossed over Mill Road and was removed in 1969. After the lighthouse, the railway continued until it reached the terminus at the Whitburn Colliery. A zoomed-in view of Whitburn Colliery, taken from an OS 1942 map, shows the location for the station platform, railway terminus and colliery entrance. A side-by-side NLS map shows the Whitburn Colliery entrance matching the same entrance to a recent car park, which is now being transformed to a new housing development. This image shows the entrances to the colliery and station platform as they would have been in the 1920s. The colliery entrance gate posts remained until a recent housing development was started. The railway walk finishes at the Queen Elizabeth II beacon, which is located on the historical Whitburn Colliery site. The video concludes with a view of the platform and carriages from 1953 and a current similar Google view with Whitburn Colliery and Station now demolished and fading from memory.